Hey, Chad Carter with xnaessentials.com. Wait, what? Okay, actually I'm with lonehallens.com. But XNA Essentials was a site that I did forever ago. I created a couple different books on XNA game development. And the last time I posted on the site was actually in April of last year. And the time before that was in 2012. And the question was there going to be an XNA Game Studio 4.0 book? And the answer was no. Because before that, it was March of 2012. But the reason why I'm showing you this site, or to even talking about XNA Essentials, because XNA is not what you want to use. So I have these books. They were XNA Unleashed. I had the first book came out in 2007. The second one came out in 2009 for XNA Game Studio 3. But back in these days, in the XNA days, where you could use the XNA framework from Microsoft and create games for both the PC and the Xbox 360, and then later you can actually make them for the Zune. I even have a chapter talking about creating a game for the Zune, and if you have no idea what the Zune is, it was basically a competitor to the iPod. So Microsoft came out with the Zune. I had a couple of them. I liked them. Unfortunately, Microsoft discontinued them because they weren't getting any traction. When XNA Game Studio 4.0 came out, they shifted away from the Zune by that point, I believe, and actually started focusing on the phone. And so they totally changed the API, and they broke it good, because the plan was to make it work on a lot of different devices and things in the future. Unfortunately, Microsoft went a different way and pretty much just killed off the product. And so I was sad. So again, by 2012, it was definitely, it was dead by that point. But the interesting thing is, while Microsoft killed that off, there's actually Monogame. And monogame.net, and this has nothing to do with what I was going to tell you, but we'll just go down memory lane here real quick, because it may be for folks who remember XNA, have some code base in XNA. Chances are you already know about this, but just for other folks, Monogame is has the exact same API as the XNA framework, same namespace and everything. So Microsoft.xna, but it's an open source one. It was originally created so that you can write XNA games. So you can write the same XNA games that you'd write for Windows or the Xbox 360 and port them over to iOS. That was the original thing, and then over to Android. Later on, it was actually made so it worked on Windows. So because by the time Windows 8 came out, you couldn't run regular XNA on Windows 8, and Monogame will let you do that. And of course now Windows 10. And looked at this again and actually updated my code for this book on GitHub. So I actually have updated it to kind of run in XNA, what would be XNA Game Studio 4, but really it was Monogame. So I actually updated the code for my XNA book to run on 4.0, and that's what this last post here talked about. And it's actually on my blog over at chadcarter.net as well in there. But this is when I was getting ready to get the HoloLens and was excited about it and wanted to know what it would take to take my code and run on Monogame. So that's pretty awesome. But the whole reason why I'm showing this site has nothing to do with Monogame or XNA, other than the fact that there's this category over here called Dream Build Play. And Dream Build Play, so I'll go all the way down here, and I'll talk about Dream Build Play back when I went to a game development conference from Microsoft Game Fest in 2007. And this was the conference where the Dream Build Play contest winners were given deals so that their games would actually run not just on the Xbox 360, but they would actually get a contract with Microsoft, like a publishing deal, and they would actually create an Xbox Live Arcade game. And that was Dream Build Play back in the day, 10 years ago. It's crazy, 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 crazy. 10 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And then in 2008, they talked about a warm-up challenge, and then they actually had a whole other challenge in Dream Build Play. And they did this for a few more times. And again, if you're interested, you can actually go and look at these older posts. But the whole reason why I'm even talking about this Dream Build Play is because they're doing it again. So after a long hiatus, you'll see that from 2009 is kind of the last time that I talked about Dream Build Play. Maybe there was one or two more since then, but I don't think so. Now they're doing it here for 2017. Now, obviously, the expectation, you can use any tools you want to. They're probably expecting you to use Unity, but you can use whatever tools you like. But, like Unity. And if you do a mixed reality game, well, your grand prize is $50,000. If you do a cloud power game using several Azure cloud services, well, all of a sudden, you jump to $100,000, right? PC games 50, mixed reality games 50, console games 25. Now here's the thing. I hadn't really dug into this because what got my attention was the mixed reality game. And I really hadn't even paid attention to the console game. And I was sitting there thinking, just now as I'm making this video, well, what? I mean, console games are not being, I guess you can create a few things, but what's actually available? So when I click on this Xbox Live Creator, it's currently a preview, but you can start coding testing today. Xbox Live is going to be open to all developers via the Xbox Live Creators Program. And it's interesting because the XNA was called the XNA Creators Program. And you can actually see here the supported game engines are actually Construct 2, Monogame that we just talked about, Unity, and Zinco. So, yeah, for folks who have been following me for a while or are into XNA and been doing Monogame, hey, look, Dream Build Play is back, and you can use your Monogame skill set to do that. For folks who've been following me relatively recently who have moved over to Unity, here you go. And by all means, if you haven't really dug in either one of those, you could feel free to check out Zinco or Construct 2. I definitely suggest to folks who are just starting out to jump straight into Unity, because I just think it's a great place to start. But back to the overall competition. If you're thinking about making a game, then I highly suggest you go in here and you register. So here's some dates you need to keep in mind. The registration actually began on June 27th, but you can start submitting your game and kind of form your team in August 2nd. You have to get your submission done by the end of the year, December 31st. So you have a good amount of time from here, into June, or here we are in the first part of July, all the way up through December 31st. And the first of the year, judging will begin, and then the winners will be announced in March. So, make a game that you want to make a game that maybe you can sell, make some money off of, and as a little extra incentive, you can actually win some money. So this is pretty awesome that Dream Build Play is back, and that Microsoft's doing this, and obviously Windows and Azure and Xbox are all pitching in funds, I guess, to make this happen. So yeah, that's really what I want to talk to you about today, was this Dream Build Play. There's some history in here for me. I'm excited that Microsoft is bringing this back, and I think it's pretty awesome. So if you've been on the fence about creating some kind of a game, whether it's for the PC or the mixed reality headsets that's coming out, or the console even for Xbox One, then go about doing that. And if you can utilize the Azure Cloud Services, obviously that's what they're looking for, because that's the biggest prize money for that. I did a Channel 9 video explaining how to create a leaderboard, a global leaderboard inside of Azure using mobile app services at the time. And in fact, so you can find that on my blog right here, how to create a global leaderboard. Or, if you just go to the home and you start looking for global leaderboard, then you'll see it come up here. Where I was talking at the Microsoft MVP virtual conference, and you click on this link, and you can actually see the talk that I did here back in 2015, explaining how to create a global leaderboard with Azure mobile services, is what it was called then, and Unity 3D. Of course, there's all kinds of other things you could do, Spark and some other things. But if you wanted to utilize Azure, here's at least one way you could do that and be entered in, or at least be eligible for Azure Cloud Services. And of course, it talks about the more you use, then the better off you are. So the other thing it mentions here is it talks about bonus points for Mixer integration. So if you're not aware, so they're just throwing all kinds of stuff at you today. So it's kind of a history lesson and some new stuff all combined together, plus a contest. I mean, what's not to love? But Mixer, if you're not familiar with it, is a brand new, I say brand new, it's not really that brand new. It's been around for 2 years or so. It was called Beam Pro, but Microsoft bought them in August of last year. So they've had them for almost a year now, I think. And yeah, so let's just go there. So Mixer.com, and so there's all kinds of people streaming all kinds of things. So it's kind of like Twitch. So if you're familiar with Twitch TV, so you got gaming and even some development. In fact, I have my username here is mixer.com/coolness, and I do some development, or at least I did last week. I did that for the first time. So when I go and actually try to create some kind of a demo for the HoloLens or something of that nature, I'm tempted to do some of it live here on Mixer. So if that would interest you at all, then you can just come over to mixer.com/coolness, and you can click this little button here to follow me, and then you'll get an email or whatever when I go live here. But the whole reason why I'm even talking about Mixer is because back on the Dream Build Play, it talks about bonus for Mixer integrations. So you can actually go to dev.mixer.com and see ways you can build your own little chat box or an interactive integration, which is pretty neat. So again, you can actually look at this and get bonus points for whatever app or game that you do. So since Microsoft bought Mixer, and personally, just so you know, I like Mixer a lot better than I did Twitch, because it has what they call faster than light, which just means that they have like 1 to 2 second delay when you're streaming. So the chat is in real time versus being, the 20 to 40 second delay that you get with like YouTube Live or Twitch or some of the others. So Mixer is pretty awesome. And Microsoft's kind of doing a push saying, hey, use our technology, create a PC game, a mixed reality game, or a console game, use Azure, integrate Mixer, and, have a pretty good chance at winning Dream Build Play. Now, I will say, you're going to be up against some pretty stiff competition. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but just know that it needs to be decent. So go ahead and determine who you need to have as team members. So if you're really awesome at coding, but not so much on the graphics side, then get you somebody on the graphics side, whether it's a 3D model or if you're doing a 2D thing, like whatever it is that you're trying to do, figure out who to pull on your team, and y'all can create something pretty awesome. The winner for the very first Dream Build Play was a guy by the name of James Silva, and he had a company called Sky Studios, and he created several games. The Dishwasher was the first one that won. And in fact, I think he actually was tied for first place in that very first one. And unfortunately, I forget who the other person was right now. But James ended up creating several more games. And and the whole reason I'm mentioning James is because he was a one-man show. But he's extremely talented. So he had the artistic ability. And he created his own audio and music. And then he created his own code as well, because he kind of learned to code. I think coding was one of the last things that he had learned. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I just remember being extremely jealous of James back in the day, because it's like, wow, the fact that you can sit here and do this type of artwork and code, like I'm jealous of anybody who has any kind of creativity about them whatsoever. So just laying it out there, just so folks know, I turn green when it comes to folks who have both the creativity side of things and the programming side. So I got the programming side down, creativity side, trying to do 3D or 2D art, or definitely playing any music. Can't do that either. My brother, he plays the trombone and does a fantastic job, does it professionally. And me, I played the radio, and I get static when I do that. So, all right, well, that's all for this video. Dream Build Play. Go ahead and join it. I think it's going to be awesome. Jump in there, and I'll see you in the next video.